I'm back, and apparently so are you. So, if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't do it right now. You don't have to do it right now. Wait till the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, if you found at least some little bit of entertainment, then hit that subscribe button, because then you'll know when I do other videos, and you can come back for even more entertainment. If you are a subscriber already, hey, welcome back. I'm glad you decided to tune in for this one. What I want to do in this video is open this box from Entertainment Earth. I'm not exactly sure which package this is. I know I had pre-ordered a few different Funko Pops, just like, well, not singles. I think there was like three or four different ones I pre-ordered, but I ordered like multiples of each one. So I got one for my own collection, and then I think one or two to put back, stash away, because there are ones that I think down the road might become grails, or at least go up in value. So it'd be smarter to get them now rather than later, because you'll be paying a lot more for them later. And it makes a little investment. You know, Funko Pops. If you are a Funko Pop, I don't want to say dealer, because I'm not a dealer. I don't have my own website. I don't have my own storefront. You know, maybe one day, and then I might be able to buy them directly from Funko, as like wholesale, as a reseller, or as a, you know, like a retail establishment to sell Funkos. But, you know, anybody that buys Funko Pops, and I do it, one, because I'm a collector, but two, because in my business, because then I can, you know, resell them and hopefully make a little bit of a profit. What the hell? Well, the point was I was going to make a point, and it went away. So if it comes to me, well, then I'll let you know what it was. But I don't remember. I can't really think of where it was going with that. So I bought Funko Pops, bought extras. I think that was the point. That was the basis of it. So. But I don't know whether this box is some of those, or if this is a particular Funko Pop set of a particular band that I'm a fan of, that I pre-ordered. So we'll find out. Now, I will tell you this: if it's the band, I'm gonna say a few things. I'm gonna rant just a little bit. Okay, I'll try to keep it minimal, but I am gonna rant a little bit. Okay, so let's find out what it is first. Here's the invoice. Okay, it is from the band, so I don't need to keep this invoice because I bought it for myself. All right, so let me pull this out here first, and I'll show it to you, and then we'll have a little discussion. Look at that box. So here is the back tab that's coming out. Why does that go in there? What the hell? Hitting something. What the hell? Hang on. This will not. It's like it's too big or something. Alright, there we go. Good enough. It's for my own collection, so I'm not really worried about it. There we go. We got Pantera. All four of them, of course, we got Philip Anselmo, Vinnie Paul, Dimebag Darrell. They both rest in peace. Both incredibly talented musicians, taken way too soon. Dimebag, of course, unfortunately lost his life in a shooting at a club. I want to say it was the Alrosa Villa in Columbus, I believe. I don't know why people do that. It's just asinine. People are stupid. And then Vinnie Paul, I think he died from not necessarily, well, like natural causes, but I mean it's because he had some like health issues. And then of course we got Rex Brown. Now here's what I want to talk about. First of all, in case you didn't know this, I've been a fan of Pantera since it was either right before or right after their Cowboys from Hell album dropped. I can't remember whether we went and seen them right before it came out or it was right after, but me and a couple buddies went to Bogart's in Cincinnati and saw them open up for, I believe it was Prong. Actually, I think we've seen them open up for Prong a few times before they started doing their own headlining tours and stuff. But, we all just fell in love with their brand of thrash right from the get-go. And then when I was at Trader's World here in Ohio, a big flea market, one time there was a guy at a stand, and it, this was back when cassette tapes were still readily available, and I saw a couple of Pantera cassette tapes. And I thought, well, I didn't know they had albums out before Cowboys from Hell. So I bought them. Now, I might still have them somewhere. If I do, I don't know where they're at. I'd have to find them. But they weren't thrash. They were more like arena rock, hair band music. Which back then, I wasn't really into the 80s rock, arena rock, hair bands. I was more like just straight classic rock, like the Doors and Clapton, Pink Floyd, CCR, of course, Iron Maiden, early Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, and metal. Of course, now I like them all. I like Def Leppard, Poison. I like all that arena rock too. But yeah, so I've been a fan of Pantera for a long time. And of course, devastated when Dimebag got killed, as most people were. I mean, even people that weren't really fans of Pantera felt something by that, because even if you weren't necessarily a fan of Pantera, when it came to guitarists, most people knew Dimebag Darrell. And then, of course, when Vinnie Paul passed away, I mean, I don't want to say it wasn't as tragic, but, because, it wasn't, the circumstances weren't as heinous, if you will. But it still, it still hit hard, because these were essentially like the two founding members of Pantera that were no longer around. And, that is really why kind of Pantera kind of just dissolved, and they all went and they did their own things. Rex went and played in some bands, and of course Phil had his own band. Had a couple different ones in that time. I most recently seen him as Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, who was the opening band for the last Slayer show I went to, which was back in 2019, like November of 2019. It was them, Phil and the Illegals, and Primus, Ministry, and then Slayer. Good concert. Phil and the Illegals, they did a full Pantera set, which was really good. But here's what I want to rant about. All right? Two things. One is I know when they talked about coming back and everybody deemed it as Pantera getting back together. Well, it wasn't Pantera getting back together because two of the members aren't with us anymore. So it's not a reunion of Pantera. I mean, at the most you could say it was a reunion of Phil and Rex. But a lot of people were complaining about them calling it Pantera and say that, they shouldn't call it Pantera. A lot of people didn't even think they should do it. I mean, I can see why some people might think that, especially, because there has been talk that I don't remember whether it was Dimebag or whether it was Benny Paul. I think it was actually Benny Paul that came forward and said, that without Dime, Pantera was no more. He didn't want to see them try to continue on under the Pantera name and do anything. And I can respect that. But by the same token, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, granted, it'd be even better if if Benny was still with us and was a part of it. But unfortunately, he's not. I didn't see it when they first talked about it. I didn't see it as them trying to just capitalize or trying to capitalize on the name or take anything away from the legacy of Benny Paul and Dimebag Daryl Abbott. I just seen it as, right from the get-go, I seen it as, it would be a good tribute to them, and it would bring new generation, possibly new generations going forward, and keep Pantera alive, at least musically. So I didn't have such a big issue with it and them even using the name Pantera, because I didn't see it as taking anything away from the founding members. And then I also got to thinking, I was like, there have been a lot of bands out there that have lost founding members, or just lost their maybe not founding members, but some of their original members that made the band, that gave the band the name. I look at Metallica. Cliff Burton, probably one of the best bass players to ever hold a bass, in my opinion. And he tragically died in, I think, like a bus accident, right? And just think, if Metallica wouldn't have gotten another bass player and continued on, the only Metallica we'd have, granted, a lot of people might say the Metallica we'd have is their three best albums, Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All, and Master of Puppets. But, I personally like the Black Album. I liked, what is it, Death Magnetic, is that what it's called? I've got it. I've only listened to a couple songs on it, though. One, don't crucify me, because I don't have a lot of time to pop CDs in and listen to them. And I don't ever think to actually take them in the car when I'm going back and forth to work. But yeah, they're like the last two, and from what I've heard of their newest album that's coming out, I think it's going to kick ass. So I'm looking forward to that. But if they would have done that, if they would have said, all right, Cliff was one of us, he was one of the original members of the band. We're not Metallica without Cliff. Then we wouldn't have had a lot of stuff after that. Skynyrd, another great band that I really like. And a lot of people, again, that's a controversial one. A lot of people look at the current incarnation of Lynyrd Skynyrd and say, well, that's just a cover band anymore. Because I think there's only like maybe one of the original people in it, if that. But same token, I think if they're faithful to the music, and it's people that have, maybe they weren't the original members, but they came into the band when it was Skynyrd. They came in and played with some of those original members. and either the original members before they passed, or other people involved with the band, family, close friends, whatever, prompted them, you got to keep it going. Get some session players, get somebody in here to take that spot. They'll never truly fill the spot of those original band members, but you can keep Skinner and keep going and keep playing shows and bring that music that so many people do love, to the masses, if you will, in a live format. That's just too. I mean, there's any number of bands that have lost members, either through tragedy, through their death, or because they just decided they want to go and do something different. So I mean, think of that. Think of how many bands we wouldn't have, and how many great albums wouldn't have been produced if every band that lost somebody, would have did that. Again, that's just my opinion. I know people have conflicting opinions about it, and that's great. That's fine. I don't admonish anybody's opinion on it. I'm just saying that the way I view it is, I didn't have a problem with them coming out and touring again as Pantera. Especially now, because they've all come out and said, this isn't meant to be, the new Pantera, and take anything away from Pantera when Benny and Dimebag, made the band. This is meant to be a tribute using their name, the name of the band. And, from what I've heard, and from what little clips I've seen, they're doing just that. They're doing a very good a tribute to Benny and Dimebag and to the band as a whole. So I'm actually going to see them in Noblesville, Indiana. I forget who they're playing with. I think they're playing with Lamb of God and somebody else. But yeah, I'm going to see them. Because, I mean, anytime I can hear Pantera, I mean, even if it was a tribute band, I'd go see it. Because, I mean, it's freaking Pantera music. Why not experience that live? Right. Now, the other thing I want to mention, real quick, is I know there's a lot of hoopla and hubbub about something that Phil said, like back in 2019 or something, I mean, years ago. I don't know exactly what he said. From what little bit I gathered, it was something that was either just was a racist remark, or it was taken and seen as a racist remark. Again, I don't know exactly what he said, so I can't say for sure. I'll be the first to say that I don't see any place for that. I mean, racism is here. It's always going to be here. And no matter what color you are, no matter what ethnicity, whatever, it's not just one group that does it. It's everywhere. Every group is guilty of it. Okay? But with that being said, people out there that say stuff without thinking, or say stuff because, just being outright derogatory and prejudiced in some manner, yeah, I don't see a place for that. There's no need for it. But, I'm the type that I think that with the cancel culture the way it is today, people just look for something to take offense at. And, I mean, the only way something can truly be offending is if you actually take it that way. Somebody could call me a white cracker, honky, ass saltine looking, Casper the Friendly Ghost, whatever. It's not going to bother me. I mean, even if they are mean it in a derogatory way. You know, depending on how to say it, could it sting a little bit? Sure, okay, but am I going to let it get to me? No. You know why? Because I am white. I am a honky. I am, I am all those things that people want to assign those words to. Now, I'm not saying that things, especially certain words, should be said. I don't think they should. I think even people within certain races that use those words amongst each other should do that. If you want to phase that out, then, they should do it themselves too. And this goes for whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asian, whatever. They all have, words that are derogatory. And I don't think anybody should use them. But it does happen. So, whatever Phil said, and I would certainly, admonish for, if he said it and it was outright the way people are saying it was, then yeah, it's not a good thing. But should that define him as a person? No. One thing you say or do should not define you as a person. And unfortunately, with cancel culture the way it is these days, that's exactly what they want. They want to root back and they want to pick out one little thing that you did. You could be 50-some years old. They want to go back and try to find one thing that they got on video or that somebody overheard you said back in, in 8th grade and junior high. And, I'm making light of it, but that's basically what we've gotten to. And it's ridiculous. I live by the very simple rule. I've said this plenty of times before, and this is how I'll always be. This is how I was raised, is if you respect me, I'll respect you. Plain and simple. If you're a decent human being, you respect me, you've got my respect. When it comes to judging people, if I do judge someone, it is based on who they are as a person. And to a certain degree, their actual actions. Within who they are. Not little actions like, well, they said this at this time way back when, or they did this, at this time years ago. And when it comes to celebrities, musicians, athletes, whatever, I'll be honest with you, I don't really care about what they say or what they do outside of what I pay attention to them for. So if it's an athlete, I pay attention to them on the field or on the racetrack or whatever it is. Okay, that's what I'm concerned with. Movies, TVs, that's what I pay attention to, is them as their characters in movies and TV. Musicians, it's their music. Or them live in concert. I don't take to heart, if you will, a lot of the stuff that they do or say that people can take this way or take that way. And, even if it is wrong and it is derogatory and racist or prejudiced, I might not approve of that in and of itself, but it's not going to take away from me actually enjoying their movies or their music or watching them, on the football field. I know a lot of people aren't that way. A lot of people, if somebody does something, they immediately want to go even further and try to find out a bunch of other stuff that they did that makes them such a bad person. When in reality, maybe they're not. I myself, I've never met Phil. Like I said, I've seen Pantera plenty of times in concert. I've seen Phil with not only Super Joint Ritual, but as Phil and the Salmos, and Phil and Salmo and the Illegals, and I've always enjoyed him in concert. Whatever band he was with. So if he said something bad, then yeah, we should at least acknowledge that. Maybe he shouldn't have said what he said. But for this whole thing, everybody wanting to cancel him, and these countries, overseas that took them off the bill for these big festivals because of something that happened a few years ago. I don't know. I mean, to me, they're probably just hurting themselves. I mean, granted, I mean they probably got enough bands playing those festivals, and they probably got a good replacement. Okay, but I would imagine there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be bummed out because they were looking forward to actually seeing Pantera. And I think one of them was in Germany. And now, look, I can say this. You know why? Because a good chunk of my heritage is Swiss German. Okay. And German, everybody immediately wants to think, a certain period of time in Germany history. Well, let's remember that was just a small period of time in Germany's history. Prior to that, they weren't that way. Since then, they're not that way. They're very loving people, from what I understand. Never been to Germany myself, but I am Swiss German, so I'm going to say this. But I mean, if you want, Germany in and of itself, if they want to take a band, whether Pantera or anybody else, off for something like that, I mean, you can kind of look at it. It's kind of the kettle calling it, what is it? The pot calling the kettle black or whatever. Because I mean, again, it'd be like on a grander scale. It'd be like people admonishing Germany even today as a country because of that bad part of history that we're all taught about in class. But that's it. Ran over. That's all I was going to say. Bottom line is, I'm happy I ordered these pops. I'm glad I got them. I'm a fan of Pantera. As long as Pantera's music is out there to be listened to, I will enjoy it. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing them, in concert again, because of their music. The personal idea, their personal ideals. I don't care about. That's it. If you enjoyed this video, I know it's probably a controversial video, but sometimes we need that, right? We need to stir things up just a little bit, just to get people maybe conversating a little bit. But if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you're a fan of Pantera, drop a comment down below. Give me your thoughts on things, but keep it civil. And, outside of that, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. The next two videos will not be controversial. They'll be fun because I'll be opening up some Funko Pop mystery boxes. So, from Ralphie's Funhouse. Alright, that's it. Video's getting long, so look out for yourself and those around you so we all have a much better chance of staying safe and healthy. Until next time.